Hi everyone, thanks for choosing Learn Things Easily. This is Subramaniam. Learn things differently but easily and surely. In this video, I'm going to teach you about structural geology, its definition, and what it deals with. Structural geology is one of the branches of geology deals with deformation of rocks and resulting structures. Deformation of rocks and resulting structures. So, what is meant by deformation? Now, if you notice, if you know what is formation and what is form, and you can easily understand what is deformation. Form and deform. Form means getting some shape, deform means losing that particular shape. So after losing that particular shape, it will get some other shape. So if you, for example, to explain you that, so I have taken just like a rod-like material. Okay, so it is just like linear and horizontal one. If I compress this particular one slowly from both the ends, what is happening? It is getting some bending in the sense. It is getting some bending structure. So it is bending simply in the sense. Actually, it is like just like a linear one, horizontal one. When I compress this particular one, it has got some bending in the sense. So this means it has lost its actual original structure and got some other structure. This is means it has got deformations. It has undergone deformation process. That's why it has lost its actual original structure and got some new structure. So formation means getting some shape originally, and what the original shape, a rock formation has got the original shape, and if losing that particular original shape and getting some other shape is called deformation. So rock destruction is something different, and rock destruction is caused by different forces, geological agents like wind, weathering, rivers, underground water, etc. And the structures are generally, we call them landforms, and these landforms are studied under the heading of physical geology. So rock deformation is a little bit different from rock destruction. Deformation is, so after rock deformation, they may undergo some destruction. Okay, so rock deformation means losing its shape, actual original shape, getting some other shape. So what are the forces responsible for rock deformation? Actually, tectonic forces are responsible for rock deformation. What are tectonics? Tectonics is a study of movement of lithospheric plates. So if you observe, a Earth consists of land areas, call them continents and oceans, and they cover these continents and oceans. They are divided into different blocks. So they are called lithospheric plates. Actually, if you you probably might have already studied about internal structure. Lithosphere is the top layer which consists of crust and upper part of upper mantle. So, if you know the internal structure of the Earth is divided into majorly three parts: crust, mantle, and core, based on seismic wave propagation through Earth. So Earth has been given some layer structure, crust, mantle, and core. They are further divided into Sia, Sima, upper mantle, lower mantle, inner core, outer core, etc. But the crust together with upper part of upper mantle is called lithosphere. This solid lithosphere always moves on plastic state material which exists beneath the lithosphere called asthenosphere. So on over the asthenosphere, this particular lithospheric plate, always moves. So the whole lithosphere is divided, the whole Earth surface, outer surface is divided into different blocks. We call them plates, or simply plates, or actually lithospheric plates. So we have got 7 major plates and more than a dozen minor plates, and all these plates, they always move over the asthenosphere because of its plastic nature, plastic state, and other things. It's not rigid, it is an semi-solid state. So these rock masses, lithospheric rock masses, they always move over the astrosphere. So when they move, so they push the rock formations, or sometimes they pull the rock formations, or they sometimes they push the rock formations apart, and there might be some sliding of the rock formation sometimes. So these forces, pushing, pulling, and sliding of rock formations, these lithospheric plate, deform the original rock structures and creates some new structures. So tectonic forces are responsible for the formation of all these deformed structures. So when these tectonic movement, lithosphere plates, they are moving, I have already told you, pulling, pushing, and shearing. These are the three processes we observe. So pulling means, say for example, so this pulling, pushing, and sliding, we call them technically compression, tension, and shear. Compression means when two forces they are acting towards each other. So just like this is compression. If the forces are acting away from each other, it is pulling this rock formation like this, and it is pulling this rock formation, the same rock formation. So automatically these forces are huge forces, and this will, when the forces are pulling the rock formation at some area, not exactly in the middle, so at some area, so there will some cracks develop, and finally the rock is divided into two parts along those breaks or fractures. So pulling and pushing. So pushing off rock formations towards each other is compression, called compression, and pulling off forces which are acting away from each other. If the forces are acting away from each other, then that type of force are called tension and tensional forces. And sometimes rock formations they slide each other in the sense. If it is moving in this way, the other one is will move in the other way in the sense. So just like this, or otherwise just like this. So this is called sliding of the rock formations, and that is called shear stresses. Compressional forces are compressional stress, forces are tensional stress, and shear stresses. So deformation caused by these forces are called compressional deformation, tensional deformation, or shear deformation. Of course, we also tell that one just using some other technical terms like elastic deformation, plastic deformation, ductile deformation, etc. So I will cover that information in another video. So these are the three forces which are responsible for the creation of these deformed structures. Because of this compression, tension, and shear forces, actually a compressional force or tensional force are these may create different types of structures. I have given the important list of structures here: the folds, faults, unconformity, joints, and unconformities. These are the four structures we study in structural geology. The first one is folds. Folds mean because of compressional stresses, rock formation they get bent, and bending of this rock formations is called folding. So there are number of folds like anticlines, synclines. There are number of folds. Anticlines and synclines are the basic fold structures. So we will study that bending of rock formation under the heading of folds. When it comes to faults, faults I have already told you, when tensional forces are acting away from each other. Not only tensional, sometimes compressional forces are also responsible for faulting. So when compressional forces or tensional forces acting on a rock formation, so in one particular time, at one particular point, it loses all its elasticity and plastic limits when the force exceed the elastic and plastic limits of this rock formation. Finally, some cracks develop, and along this cracks there will be displacement of rock formations, single rock formation to two blocks. That kind of displacement along fractures caused by these forces is called fault or faulting. So there are number of faults I'm not going to cover that any classification of faults and other things in this video. So this is about faults. Joints are similar to fault, but there will not be any displacement or detachment of rock formation into two faults. So fractures develop in rock formations, but there will not be any detachment or displacement in the rock formation. So that kind of things are called joints. Unconformities is little bit different, not because of any tensional sources, but upliftment of area might be the one of the main reasons. So where it only goes and it is affected by erosion, and there will not be any deposition for a long time. So unconformities are nothing but surface of erosion or non-deposition are called unconformities. So we will not see any compressional forces and tensional forces in this particular one, but only when the rock formations are uplifted in this because of some other forces under. So it always undergoes some erosion process. It is affected by erosion process, not by any. There will not be any deposition for a long time. So that will type of structures are called unconformities. So bending in the rock formations are called bending is called folding. Displacement of rock formations along fractures is called faulting. Fractures develop in rock formation and there is no displacement are called jointing on joint, and period of non-deposition or surface of erosion is called unconformities. So these are the four important structures we study in structural geology caused by deformation, caused by these tectonic forces. And I have already told you, because of bending, the rock formation actually lost its actual original position and got some bending structure. So deformation of rocks and resulting forces is called structural geology, and because of tectonic forces, so deformation mainly takes place. So this is about structural geology, its definition, and structures what we generally study in structural geology, and forces responsible for deformation. So this is about structural geology. Thanks for watching, and I will cover attitude of birds in my next video. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe my channel and share my videos to your friends and members, or your friends and people who are doing any graduation or post graduation or BTech or civil, mining or petroleum, to all your students who are interested in learning geology. And thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day.